Inside the Magic, show number 447 for October 28th, 2013.
Now, who could that be?
Happy Halloween, darlings!
It is October 28th, 2013. This is show 447 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti, with our Halloween edition of Inside the Magic. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, you've been covering Halloween all month long, but no. This is a very traditional Halloween episode of Inside the Magic. Those of you who have been tuning in for many years might have an idea of what that means. A lot of surprises in store, so stay tuned. Before we get to all of that, I invite you to visit InsideTheMagic.net. This is where you will find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and a whole lot more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, or anything else that you want to send in, you can write to me at Ricky@InsideTheMagic.net or call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Let Adventures by Disney be your guides, your storytellers, your local experts, and your masters of hassle-free guided travel when you travel the world. And you can receive a free Visa gift card when you book an Adventures by Disney vacation with Magical Travel. Call them today at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote, and be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive a free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to Aaron Westendorp for your donation this week, and of course to all of our monthly recurring donation subscribers and anyone clicking through the affiliate links over on the website. I thank you for all of it. And now let's get started with a trip around the world. Starting off with some music you may not have ever heard before, but it might sound strangely familiar. We'll get to a little bit more about that later in this week's show. But, let's actually just leave this playing in the background as I talk about the week's news before we jump into some really great Halloween fun. This is a few days late, as many shows seem to have been in recent days here, but I have a very good reason, and that's over the weekend I was aboard the newly reimagined Disney Magic cruise ship. My first time sailing on that ship. It was a short 2-night cruise just to basically familiarize myself with all of the updates, the debut of the updates on that ship. Of course, that includes the very fun and very impressive Aqua Dunk slide, not the Aqua Duck, but the Aqua Dunk. There are updated staterooms, as well as an all-new Oceaneer Club for kids, including Marvel's Avengers Academy, and a whole lot more. Now, I'm not going to be talking about all of that on this week's show because I would fill the whole show with that. In fact, that's likely what I'm going to be doing next week. This week, it is Halloween. So stay tuned for that. Of course, you can go to InsideTheMagic.net. I've already posted a lot on those 3 topics that I just mentioned, and as well as I'll continue to post throughout this week on even more from that ship, and then, like I said, follow up next week on the show with much more. The other big news that happened over the last few days out here at Walt Disney World, elegance and charm has been brought to a new level over at the Villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. The Villas have officially opened. It's the Disney Vacation Club addition to the Grand Floridian. The official opening ceremony took place just outside the new building that is now done, now complete. Mickey and Minnie were there, sharing a few moments before welcoming everybody inside to see the new lobby, which is, it's vacation club style. It's the welcome home, casual casual style, but there are some nice touches in there. In fact, there are a few Disney twists to the classic Grand Floridian style, adding a bit of flair from Mary Poppins and Dumbo as well, with a nice penguin fountain in the lobby, along with some carousel horses, and even Mary Poppins' umbrella can be seen on the above the elevator, the indicator above the elevator, and lots of other little fun touches like that. Now, rather than me continuing to talk about that for a while now, which I would happily do, I'd rather let you listen to somebody who knows even more about it because, well, she helped create it. It's an Imagineer that worked on this update to the Grand Floridian. We were sitting in the lobby having a chat about it all, so this is not Halloween, of course, but it is important Disney news. So let's hop on over to the new villas at the Grand Floridian for a quick chat, and I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Debbie Peterson, and I'm the Executive of Creative Development for Walt Disney Imagineering.
Great. So how long have the villas at the Grand Floridian been in development?
It's been in design and development for a couple of years. We start out with a long concept phase where we do a lot of research and thinking about the design before it goes into full drawings.
Take me back a little bit to that phase. I mean, the Grand Floridian's been iconic at Walt Disney World since day one.
Right.
How do you expand on that?
Right. Well, you expand on it by basically tying it together to the story of the Grand Floridian, which is a celebration of Victorian, turn of the century, and the elegance story. So obviously we want to keep that. We want to make it a seamless experience, not only with the villas, but with the spa, the convention center, the wedding pavilion. It all needs to transition and feel cohesive. So we started with that, but we also wanted to bring sort of a fresh and updated feel to this resort as well.
Well, there's definitely some updates in here. I mean, the general look of it, the reds and the whites, that mirrors it, but then you walk in, you see a whole lot of Mary Poppins. Where did that come in?
Yeah. Well, at the beginning when we were doing our research, we realized that the story of Mary Poppins and Alice in Wonderland were stories that took place at the turn of the century, and we thought we could have a lot of fun making that connection with those stories with this hotel. And it took a little bit of work, but I think we pulled it off. The fountain is really fun. It's got 7 Mary Poppins penguins playing in it, but it's also designed around a Victorian fountain. So blending the Disney touches with the Victorian story is really important to us, and to make it a seamless experience and everything work together in harmony.
Fairly recently, the Alice in Wonderland water play area opened. Was that all part of the same design process?
It was. You'll see Alice in Wonderland, primarily Mary Poppins, and then we also discovered as an added bonus that the story of Dumbo took place in Florida. So there's some Dumbo artwork referenced throughout the resort as well. So really instilling the Disney branding into this resort.
I noticed above the elevators a little detail there on the numbers. Are there any other sort of tiny Imagineering Easter eggs that guests should be looking for?
Well, that's definitely a fun one. I mean, we looked at the elevator indicator, which was just a pointed arrow, and we said we can do something with this. Let's make it Mary Poppins' umbrella. So it's fun. I think really the artwork reference for Jolly Holiday that you see in the corners, maybe the carousel horses that are on either end of the lobby, it all kind of reflects and reinforces that whole scene from Mary Poppins and Jolly Holiday, which is really fun.
When designing this update to the Grand Floridian, what did you have in mind that guests would sort of most take away with them? Obviously, it's very luxurious, a very nice stay, but what is the overall feeling that you hope guests would walk away with?
I think for this and all Disney Vacation Clubs, we try to design it with the feeling of being home. So we took the big scale of the Grand Floridian and we scaled it down. We made it comfortable, we made it cozy, we made nice places for families to hang out. And I think that's probably the biggest win for this resort, is that it doesn't disturb the story, but it feels like home.
One more question, looking ahead a little bit. Polynesian DVC is on the way. Is there anything you could say about that?
I really can't say anything about that. I'd love to, but I can't.
Always got to try. Always got to ask the looking ahead question there to see if they'll tell me anything at all. But Polynesian is on the way. But in the meantime, a Disney Vacation Club is now definitely there at the Grand Floridian. I had a chance to walk through a number of the different room styles that they have. There is a one-bedroom villa, which is quite nice, very big, very spacious, a room to spread out and enjoy, kind of a kitchen nook area. Of course, there's also a full kitchen as well. Lots of seating in the living room, and then the bedrooms are quite comfortable. But the size of these accommodations are very impressive. In addition to the one-bedroom villa, there's a studio villa as well, where it's kind of a more traditional type of hotel room. But the real jaw-dropper is the Grand Villa, which is basically a house. It's something like 2,800 square feet. It's bigger than most houses. It has this massive living room area, a huge, really spectacular, nice kitchen. The master bedroom is plenty big and quite comfortable. There's a media room where you can enjoy some television. The master bathroom is unbelievable with this great, hot tub, and it's just quite the incredible set of rooms for anyone looking for sort of the more homey feel, but even better. I mean, these accommodations are going to be better than most people's homes. The Grand Villa even sleeps up to 12 guests, which is quite impressive. So there's kind of an overview of the Disney Vacation Club addition to the Grand Floridian. You can see more pictures, more video, more interviews over at InsideTheMagic.net. Now, some more big news that came out of Walt Disney World over the last week and a half or so is that over at Town Square Theater at the Magic Kingdom, Mickey Mouse is now talking on a daily basis. Just about anybody who's wandered through there will see Mickey in his new magician outfit, and he'll be doing some magic tricks for guests and having a conversation. He's a little bit limited in what he is able to talk about, but he is there and he is speaking, so a little bit of extra Disney magic that's been in the works for, I don't know, about 3 years now, at least publicly, is now in the park daily. Here's a fun announcement looking a little bit ahead to the Christmas season. Disney announced that the Jungle Cruise, both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, is getting a holiday makeover, and they're calling it the Jingle Cruise. Now, those of you looking at the video version of this show, the image that you're seeing of two hippos wearing Santa hats and Christmas lights on a Jungle Cruise boat, don't worry. That's my own little Photoshop creation. That's not actually what the Jingle Cruise is going to be, but rather it's a new seasonal storyline, as Disney says, with gags. Their story goes as follows. Skippers have grown homesick for the holidays, so they've added a holiday cheer to the Jungle Cruise queue and boathouse with decorations that have been mailed to them from home, plus a few they've created themselves. And naturally, these new themed jokes or that there will be new themed jokes to replace the old ones, along with a special radio broadcast and new boat names as well. The Jingle Cruise is going to begin in early November, so very, very soon. Meanwhile, out in California, Marvel has just about opened up in a big way in Innoventions at Disneyland, where the Throne Room of Odin now hosts Thor in a new meet and greet, the first Marvel meet and greet at Disneyland. It's officially opening November 8th, but annual pass holders already have a chance to preview that. You enter through the Bifrost after walking through Thor, Treasures of Asgard, the exhibit, and then ultimately you meet Thor himself in his Thor outfit, and he's got the hammer and everything. So exciting stuff there for Marvel fans. And speaking of Disneyland, just a few days from now on Friday, November 1st at 8:30 in the morning, the park's going to open a little bit early, or at least the Main Street area is, because Imagineer Tony Baxter is going to be receiving his window on Main Street USA with a special ceremony. It is going to be open to guests, so if you want to show up early to Disneyland Friday morning, you'll be able to pack in as close as possible and witness whatever spectacular ceremony Disney has for Tony Baxter. Now let's take a step away from Disney for a moment to look at Universal Orlando, where, of course, they've been working on a Hogwarts Express train for quite a while now. We knew a full-size working version of this train was on the way ever since they announced the Diagon Alley expansion of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The train arrived backstage several weeks ago, though Universal wouldn't admit it quite yet. Everybody knew it was there. And they've been working on the raised tracks that connect both theme parks there, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. Well, just a few days ago, the locomotive and the train tender were lowered onto the tracks, and Universal made a big deal about it, finally acknowledging that the train was indeed there and showing it off. It's not running, it's not moving yet, it's not open, certainly, but it is a milestone in the progress of the Wizarding World expansion. Now back to the theme of Halloween. Here's a couple of fun things. One that occurred over this past weekend out here in Orlando. Near Universal Orlando, though, has really nothing to do with that. It was Spooky Empire's Ultimate Horror Weekend, an event that I always look forward to every year, and unfortunately I was out in the middle of the ocean during this weekend, but I did have a chance to preview the part that I was most excited about just before I left, and that was the Mucklebones Monster Museum tribute to the Haunted Mansion. They made this excellent walkthrough exhibit just for this weekend, featuring sort of their take on the happy haunts and the grim grinning ghosts of the Haunted Mansion, a much scarier, spookier version of all of these ghosts, but it looked really fantastic. Definitely head over to InsideTheMagic.net or check our YouTube channel to see photos and video of what they showed off. And I was just alerted to something really fun that is in the works, and I hope it's something that really takes off. It's virtualscreams.com. Now, this is going to be an online virtual experience to basically walk through a haunted house similar to what you would at Universal or, Knott's Berry Farm or Busch Gardens or wherever. A theme park-style haunted house experience, but virtual on a 3D virtual maze. It's being created from a video game environmental artist. It'll be free at virtualscreams.com. Playable through a web browser with the Unity 3D plugin. They're also going to develop a version that you can use with the Oculus Rift system, this great virtual reality system that's not out yet, but it is coming, I believe, next year, or maybe even by holidays this year. I'm not sure when it comes out, but regardless, Oculus Rift, I've heard nothing but amazing things about this VR system. There's a Kickstarter campaign to get this up and running, the Virtual Screams, in time for next Halloween. So head to virtualscreams.com if you want to support this project, and if they reach their goal, they will make it happen, and I'll be excited about that. Couple of quick mentions here at the end of the news before we jump into some really, really exciting Halloween fun this week, but these are related, actually. One is the latest edition of the Window to the Magic Walt Disney World podcast show 24. That's WTTM WDW 024 is a special Halloween edition that I have a part in. Much as I contributed to their Secrets of the Wooden Door episode years ago, it's now, well, essentially a sequel to that, or at least a follow-up to that. And so make sure you head to windowtothemagic.com, look for their podcast, search for them on iTunes, whatever you need to do to find their podcast, and look for this Walt Disney World episode number 24 to enjoy the special Halloween edition, and you'll hear my familiar voice amidst many, many other talents on there. But speaking of talents, and this is something I'm going to be talking about much, much more on this week's show a little bit later, remember Missing in the Mansion last year? That amazing short film that the Daws brothers, Jeremiah and Josh, regulars to Inside the Magic, that they created last year, shot in Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion, bringing the Hatbox Ghost to life. Well, guess what? There's a follow-up this year, and it is equally exciting, though a very different concept. This time, the Haunted Mansion comes home and brings one of the hitchhiking ghosts with it, and it's about an 8-minute short film. Followedfromthemansion.com is where you can check that out, and I'm just going to stop talking about it right there because you need to go watch it immediately. Stop this show, stop it right this second, and go watch it, and after you've done that, come back, and we'll be hearing more about that short and the very special actor who portrayed that ghost later in this week's show. And that'll do it for your news from around the world this week. now, this week's tip is something I've definitely mentioned on this show before, but keeping with the Halloween spirit, it was the first thing that came to mind when I thought, what's a great sort of spooky tip that I could offer, and it's one that I can't emphasize enough. When you go to Walt Disney World, to the Magic Kingdom, to the Haunted Mansion out here in Orlando, you go into the stretching room, you watch, of course, the room stretch, and the thunder and all of that, and the lightning, and then it ends, and they, try to get everybody to leave and move on to the Doom Buggies. Well, hang back. Stick around a little while. Make sure you're the last one out of the stretching room, and by doing that, listen carefully, and you will hear some extra special spooky sounds swirling about the room. It's a great sort of added bonus that a lot of people will miss by rushing out of there. So there's your tip. Everybody else, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. And now, before we jump into that Halloween fun, let me mention Capturing Magic, the pair of iPhone apps that are the ultimate tool for documenting and recording the magic of your Disney vacation. Whether you are at Walt Disney World or Disneyland, Capturing Magic offers a helpful list of photo opportunities and memories to capture before, during, and after your trip. It is the perfect way to ensure that you don't miss a magical moment. While you're in the parks, the app's going to remind you of any of those desired photo ops you've marked off in the app, and when you're near those locations, and you can take a picture, mark off who's in it, what camera you used, and then later you export and organize everything very easily. Search for the Capturing Magic iPhone apps in the iTunes App Store. Following up on last year's Missing in the Mansion, the Daws brothers have brought us Followed from the Mansion this year, another great short film, and I welcome Jeremiah and Josh back to the show for this Halloween edition of Inside the Magic.
Hey, happy Halloween. Hey, Ricky.
Good to hear from you. It's been, how many weeks in the making has this been now?
Oh, man, I think we've been 6-7 weeks, something like that. We've been working on it, so...
The fans have been asking since we released the first one to do a follow-up, so...
I think since, day one, everyone was like, I want more!
Yep.
It came off great last year. Certainly it's been... did it reach 500,000 views?
Not quite yet.
Almost.
There.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And hopefully this follow-up will be just as popular. I'm certainly enjoying it. Very different style this time around. Of course, just to give a little backstory, Missing in the Mansion last year was shot at Disneyland and in the Haunted Mansion, and told the story of the Hatbox Ghost, essentially. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, go watch it. Look it up on YouTube immediately. So this year, you've brought us Followed from the Mansion, taking it outside of Disneyland, but keeping that same tone. Why did you decide this time around to shoot elsewhere?
Well, we didn't really want to repeat ourselves and do the found footage thing again. We also wanted to shoot something that was very kind of reminiscent of the stories we grew up watching on Amazing Stories or Twilight Zone the movie. Just that kind of fantastical Amblin style of storytelling.
Yeah, and we've been developing sort of an idea like that, and we're like, well, why don't we merge that idea with a sequel or follow-up to Missing in the Mansion, and that's where Followed from the Mansion came from. Yeah,
just kind of grew from there. Now, if anyone hasn't gone out and watched Followed from the Mansion yet, don't listen any further. Don't pay any attention to this. Stop right now. Go to followedfromthemancion.com. Go to insidethemagic.net. Search for it on YouTube. Whatever you have to do. It's, 8 minutes long or so. You can go watch that 6 times in a row right now because it's fantastic. So now moving forward, hopefully everybody has seen it at this point. The Phineas, the hitchhiking ghost, clearly the star of this short.
Absolutely.
You did a fantastic job bringing this sort of, relatively static, barely moving figure into this fully realized animated character that's actually not even fully animated. Can you talk a little bit about how you brought Phineas to life, so to speak?
Yeah, we have a really good friend of ours is an animator who works for a video game company. And as we were kind of getting together, all of our visual effects friends, to kind of pitch ways to pull off some of the smaller visual effects in this movie, our buddy was like, crazy idea. What if we did a digital head replacement on Phineas? And we just said, is that even possible for what we're trying to do? And
that's the kind of thing you see in big budget Hollywood movies.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. And we had been planning to do it just with prosthetics like we did the Hatbox Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of lifted our vision for what this could be, and he said, "Yeah, I think we can do this." So we said, "Do a little test for us, and so we can see what that might look like." And we were just blown away.
Yeah, when you sent me over that test, I was just like, my eyes were big and my jaw dropped, and I was like, this is going to happen, and this is going to be awesome.
Cool.
It looked great, and the final result's even better. And of course, you had a very talented actor playing the rest, not the head, but the rest of Phineas.
Yes, his body and his performance, more or less, was played by Jesse Corti, who is famous for being the voice of LeFou from Beauty and the Beast.
Yep, and also on this week's show, and so he's got great stories to tell us here. But from your angle, what was it like working with him?
Oh, he's a blast. He's got such great stories to tell. He was in the original cast of Les Mis, and this was telling us stories of working with Tony Scott and Kevin Costner, and just it was so much. It was hard to keep working short because we wanted just to stop and listen to his stories.
Yeah, I imagine that would be difficult. You want lots more downtime and break time than actual shooting time. But the process, would you put him in front of a green screen?
Yeah, well, we shot all the stuff on the set, and we had him come and sort of interact with the actors so they had the right performance. And then after we had shot everything with the kid and the stepmom and everything, we set up a green screen, and yeah, we put tracking dots all over his face, and had him perform all of his stuff again, just standing in place for green screen, and it worked out really well.
I love the voice that he has supplied. It's, you think about this iconic character from the Haunted Mansion has been mute for decades now. How what did you do to work with him on developing that voice, or was it just like, hey, you're a voice actor, go?
we started. I mean, we knew he was going to bring something to the short.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really audition. We didn't have him, say, show us what you would do, and we'll decide if we want to cast you. We just knew he's got the chops.
Right.
He'll figure it out. And then once we got on set, we had him go with the voice, and it started out a lot darker, and we just kind of kept finessing it and kind of pulling it back, because we just we wanted to keep the tone lighter, and
we used the Mickey Mouse cartoon, the short with the playful ghosts, where Mickey and gang are the Ghostbusters,
right? The lonesome ghosts, yeah.
Yeah, we used that as kind of reference, because we wanted him to be that playful, mischievous, at times scary, but all in good fun.
Yeah, well, the line from Grim Grinning Ghosts is they pretend to terrorize.
Yeah, yep, that's it.
and that really goes along with here. Now, there is a moment in this, and you surprised me with this, because I didn't know this was going to happen at all, where it gets a little creepy.
Yes. We call that the Large Marge shot.
That's great. That is a perfect description of that. Things get a little wacky. The facial expressions. That gave me a little startle.
Cool. Yeah, that was the plan. We just thought, he's cornering the mom. He's not going to do anything to her. He's just wanting to scare her. And what better way than just kind of ghost out on her, and yeah, it worked like a charm.
It definitely does. Now, Missing in the Mansion, certainly a spooky, scary ghost story through and through. Seems like this time around, as you were saying, it sort of pulled back a little bit, made it a little happier, and it has a nice, sort of heartwarming story wrapped around it.
Yeah, we just, we thought, this one will be we wanted it to be sort of the friendly one that you could, show your kids. I guess, some people, I still think it's a little scary for the kids, but but yeah, I think this one you could show it to some older kids, and they could have a lot of fun with it.
I think if kids can handle the pop-up ghosts in the Haunted Mansion, they can handle this short.
Right, exactly. Though it is funny, we shot this short in Josh's house, and he's got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we've decided not to show the short to them for a little while, just so that they it doesn't freak them out that their kids that the ghost was actually in their house in their bedroom.
Oh yeah, good point. They can go in the haunted mansion, no problem, but yeah, in their own bedroom, that might get a little crazy.
It's a little much.
One more note here that I definitely want to bring up about this short is the music is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, Jason and Nolan Livesey, who did the sound design and the ending music for Missing in the Mansion, just did a phenomenal job and just really channeled that Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams feeling that we were really going for with this. A lot of influence from Poltergeist, and you can hear a lot of E.T. in there, Back to the Future, just that Amblin Steven Spielberg magic sound.
Yeah, they're very smart about their music too. The da 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 that those 4 notes, they said, those are the 4 primary notes used in the E.T. movie score and also in the Back to the Future movie score. If you rearrange those notes, it works on both. So we were like, well, that's a bonus. We love it.
I never thought about that, but now that you say it, that makes sense. And I'm not going to quite ride the Haunted Mansion and watch those movies the same way anymore. I'm going to be thinking about Marty McFly riding through on a doom buggy.
Exactly.
That's funny. And of course, the short and more information and the score itself is available for download all at the website, right?
Yep, absolutely. Free download.
See, that's great. And I'm featuring some of that music in the background on this week's show. Everybody out there tuning in, you've already heard it. I was during the news section at the top because how can I not? It's awesome. And so, anything else you want to sort of throw in there about this short? Because the only thing I have left to say is for everybody to go watch it a million times, because that's what I'm going to be doing.
Great. No, we're glad. Share it with your friends. We're excited to show off, the hard work of all the people that worked on it. It was definitely a huge collaboration, and we just want people to see it and enjoy, and mostly the fans just to have another short film that they can visit each Halloween.
Well, it's a Halloween tradition now. Now you got to make another one next year.
We'll see.
No, but great. Whether you do that or whatever work you do in the future, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Clearly, you two are very talented filmmakers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. So followedfromthemansion.com is the official home site for this short film, and some behind-the-scenes stuff coming soon, right?
Absolutely.
Great. So we'll be able to see Jesse on the green screen and all of that good stuff. So, Jeremiah, Josh, great to talk to you as always.
Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks. See ya.
Thanks again to Jeremiah and Josh Daws for coming on and talking all about their exciting new short film, Followed from the Mansion. Make sure you head over to, if you haven't already, which you probably should have before listening to all of that, but if you haven't already, head to followedfromthemansion.com, watch it again, download the score. It's fantastic. You heard it at the top of the show as well, and stay tuned for that behind-the-scenes footage as well. And actually, a little bit more about Followed from the Mansion. You heard us talking about the ghostly star of that short film, Jesse Corti. He'll be joining us here on Inside the Magic in just a little bit. But first, I want to share some musical entertainment this week from a name that should be very familiar for you on this show. It is Tom Ameen. He had the good fortune with his latest CD, Piano and Pixie Dust, which we talked about here on the show several weeks ago. It reached number 9 on the Billboard Top 10 New Age list. So big congrats to Tom for that. And in honor of this spooky season, I asked him to record a special song just for us here on Inside the Magic to enjoy. So now here is something that should be rather familiar to anybody for this Halloween. Yet another amazing rendition of a classic Disney song. This time, of course, Grim Grinning Ghost from the Haunted Mansion, done only the way that Tom Ameen can do it. And you heard it here first on Inside the Magic. Of course, you should go pick up his CD, his album, Piano and Pixie Dust. Go to tomameen.com to find out more. It's on iTunes. It's wherever you need it to be. And it is number 9 on that Billboard Top 10 New Age list. Congrats, Tom. And thanks very much for continuing to supply us with such great music here on the show that I know everybody is loving so very, very much. And while I'm on the subject now of sort of a blast from the past here in the Halloween season, here's something that you longtime listeners and even viewers, but this is an audio-only bit that you longtime listeners should be really, really excited about.
Hi, everybody, this is Jay.
And this is Mark.
And we'd like to welcome you to Backstage Pass.
We take you behind the magic and inside Disney history, pulling back the curtains and letting you see the Disney magic and history up close.
With an eclectic mix of entertaining topics, humor, and tons of information and details, we want to keep you learning and smiling.
So here is your Backstage Pass.
Disney Hollywood Studios, Sunset Boulevard, 8:35 p.m., October 31st. Whoa, that felt like a close one, Mark.
Come on, Jay, we're almost there. Oh, watch out, it's puddles.
Yeah, I see them. There's the Twilight Zone entrance. I just love this fiber optic Tower of Terror sign.
Jay, what are you doing? Come on.
Right. Coming.
Oh, sweet, nobody's waiting at all.
Yeah, that's because everybody's at the Magic Kingdom on Halloween night, Mark. Getting soaked tonight, though. Let me get this rain jacket off. Okay. Whew. Well, we made it. We got the last ride of the evening.
Oh, then we can face the rain back to the park entrance. You know, it's kind of weird nobody's here.
Yeah, not even a cast member. Hey, but the library doors are open. Go on in.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone. Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age, the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right, a beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that. The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story of the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard, because in tonight's episode, you are the star, and this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
There. The doors to the boiler room are opening. Let's go.
I think it's strange there aren't any cast members or any guests.
Oh man, this is awesome. We can just get right on. Just weave around here. Uh-oh. There goes the lights. Wow, it's dark in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some very strange things in the hotel this evening. Please be patient. We want your October 31st, 1939 to be memorable, so we are working to correct the problems as soon as possible. Thank you.
That's cool. 1939. Disney always has such great details.
Oh, man, I can't even see in here. It's kind of creepy.
Yikes. We're kind of stuck until cast members come. There aren't even any emergency lights in here.
Oh. Hey, while we wait, let's go over everything we know about this ride. It'll pass the time. Disney's The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Tell me everything you know.
Okay. Well, the original concept for this ride was an old hotel with a demented hotel owner who kills a number of guests, then escapes down the hotel elevator. But Disney management murdered that idea pretty quick.
That's nice.
Yeah. That eventually evolved into a walk-through haunted attraction of an old hotel, narrated by Vincent Price. The story was to be a bunch of old movie stars filming a horror movie when they disappeared one by one. Michael Eisner felt that concept didn't involve the guests enough, and that was when the concept of having hotel guests star in a story from the Twilight Zone television show emerged. The Imagineers created a story from a Twilight Zone episode called A Good Life, using a Rod Serling voice impersonator and some very expert edits, directed by Joe Dante, who helmed Explorers, Gremlins, and Inner Space. The backstory for the attraction is set in the Hollywood Tower Hotel, a gathering place for the social elite in 1939. Yet something strange happened on Halloween night in 1939. On that dark, stormy night, two glamorous movie stars, a bellhop, and a young child star and her governess entered the hotel elevator, never to be seen again. A massive lightning strike caused part of the hotel to vanish and the guests and staff to abandon the hotel, leaving steamer trunks and suitcases unchecked by the front desk and drinks still half full on the tables.
Right. Now, the ride system itself was the greatest challenge for Imagineers. Once it was decided to incorporate the haunted elevator into the ride sequence, Imagineers sought the help of the Otis Elevator Company. The core development team went to a new high-rise in LA where Otis engineers had just installed their fastest generation elevator. Setting the elevator to the highest speed, the team rode from the 50th floor to the ground without feeling a thing. "So what do you think?" asked the Otis rep. It's fast, all right," said the Disney team member, "but we were looking for a hair-raising, gut-wrenching ride." "What?" said the Otis exec, "and undo everything we've tried to perfect for 100 years? Our success comes when you feel like you're not moving at all." So the Imagineers realized they would have to do something completely different with this ride. Situated high above the rest of the park, on top of the elevator shafts, are a pair of electric motors, 12 feet tall, 7 feet wide, and 35 feet long, capable of throwing each elevator the 130 feet up or down and reaching its top speed in 1.5 seconds.
Thank you for your patience. It seems some villainous guests are running amok in the tower tonight, messing things up. But we would love for you to now continue your hotel visit.
Oh, hey, the lights came back on.
I still think it's strange there aren't any cast members around.
Oh, don't be such a worrywart, Mark. After all, it's Disney. Come on, we never get to ride this by ourselves.
You are the passengers in a most uncommon elevator about to ascend into your very own episode of The Twilight Zone. One stormy night long ago, 5 people stepped through the door of an elevator and into a nightmare. That door is opening once again, and this time, it's opening for you. to discover what lies beyond the fifth dimension, beyond the deepest, darkest corner of the imagination, in the Tower of Terror.
Mark?
Yeah?
I think something is wrong.
Whoa! Hey!
Whoa. What's that?
That didn't feel right. Jay, hold on!
You might want to mind me again. I must have a chunk of brimstone wedged in my ear or something.
All its spoils!
Get out, you idiot! I'll find her. I'll find her if I have to burn down all of Paris. Hellfire! Dark fire! Now you see it's your turn. You will be good firewood!
Peter Pan will save me.
Peter Pan will save.
Take whatever booty you can find, but remember, the beast is mine!
Magic mirror on the wall. Who now is the fairest one of all?
Now go with a curse and serve me well. Round Stefan's castle, cast my spell.
Just you wait till I get you in my coil.
Yes, my soul, soon that cauldron will be mine. Its evil power will course through my veins. Yes, oh yes, then you will worship me.
You! How many times do I have to kill you, boy?
I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna kill it. Dumb, slimy,
You have spirit for one so small. And such spirit is deserving of a sporting chance.
No, fool, we're gonna kill him. And Simba, too.
Great idea! All right. Keep the little beast for all I care. Do what you like with him. Drown them. But I warn you, Anita, we're through. I'm through with all of you. I'll get even. Just wait. You'll be sorry. You fools. You idiots!
A warm welcome back to those of you who made it, and a friendly word of warning. Something you won't find in any guidebook. The next time you check into a deserted hotel on the dark side of Hollywood, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling, or you may find yourself a permanent resident of the Twilight Zone.
Come on, Mark. Let's get out of here. Okay. That was a little creepy, huh?
Ugh, a little? I'd say a lot creepy. But at least there's guests and cast members in the gift shop. I mean, everything seems back to normal.
Yes, and I see everyone's playing with the bells as usual.
The Hollywood Tower gift shop is so awesome! Look at this t-shirt! I love everything at Universal World.
Universal World?
This is Jay.
And this is Mark, saying we'll see you next time, Backstage.
You can access the entire Backstage Pass library of over 40 episodes for free at www.keystothemagic.com and click on the Backstage Pass menu item at the top of the page.
Always a treat to have Mark and Jay back on the show with Backstage Pass. Another great Halloween edition taking us to the Tower of Terror, though a particularly creepy version of that. So thanks for another great Halloween installment. I'd love to hear more from them on a more regular basis, but you know what? Once a year at Halloween will do just fine for me. Now, before we round out the show with one final great Halloween time conversation, I do need to mention touringplans.com. If you're tired of waiting in lines at theme parks, you can avoid them with personalized, computer-optimized plans from touringplans.com when you're planning your next trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or Universal Orlando. Use touringplans.com's crowd calendar to pick the best and least crowded days to visit. Then once you're in the parks, utilize their mobile wait time app based on years of data to determine when to hit each ride or show or other attraction and spend the least time waiting in line. You're going to save 20% on touringplans.com today by using discount code ITM to start planning your stress-free vacation today. Joining me on this week's Inside the Magic is a man who is probably best known in the world of Disney as the voice of LeFou, but all of you out there will be seeing him right away in a new Disney role as well. I welcome Jesse Corti to the show.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So before we get to this really cool new project that I want to talk about here, let's go jump back a little bit to Beauty and the Beast. How did you get involved and get the role of LeFou?
Well, originally, I was in New York doing a Broadway show. I was in the original company of Les Miserables, and we did a well, actually, they did a real search out. They wanted people who were Broadway actors who could sing as well, and they didn't want to do the star way, although we did have stars in Beauty and the Beast. But they opened up it to Broadway actors. So I was called in. I used to live in New York at that time, and I went in and I auditioned for them. And originally, my character was going to be like, real huge dumb guy. But when I went in, and I'm short, I'm only like 5'7", the actor who went in, Richard White, who was playing Gaston, when we went in together, I said, look, let's really play this up. I'm small, you're big, And lo and behold, it worked out. But originally I was actually reading for the Candlestick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But funny enough that someone else got that. And but I'm very happy with LeFou. I mean, it's been great. And I also been very blessed to have not only done LeFou in the, for the Anglo market, but since my first language, when I came here to the United States when in 1960, when I was just a little boy, I speak fluent Spanish. So I let Disney know that, and then I did the actual singing, and I voiced LeFou in Spanish as well.
Okay, I have to know, what does LeFou sound like in Spanish?
Él suena así. Oh, Gastón, ¿qué estás haciendo? Oh, hi, Ricky.
I have no idea what you just said, but I got the hi part.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's funny. So the evolution of the character, it sounds like it was, really you helped sort of bring it to life for what we know, that it ultimately became.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get to the beauty of this. They let you do. In fact, they let you do your thing, and then they say, "This is what we like. We like this, and we like that." But I was able to put some of my own thing. In fact, that's why when you see the LeFou, it's a little guy with long hair. At the time when I auditioned, I had long hair, had a ponytail. He's got a little ponytail. So they try to match me up, which is a nice little thing that they did.
That's got to be a little bit bizarre. I know they record, video of voice actors and all that, but then when you turn around, you see the, at the time, hand-drawn animation. Was that sort of one of those weird moments? Be like, hey, that's sort of me.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Well, when you're shooting these things, they shoot you while you're recording. They first shoot the voice, obviously, or they record the voice. and there's a couple of cameras on you while you're acting, you're doing it. So they get the benefit of watching you perform, and they see you, and so I think that helps them. That helps the animators illustrate the character a little bit better if you jump up or if you do stuff. But so for me, it was a nice treat to see myself in that way.
Were there any improvisations that you can think of that you threw in there? Then you go back and watch the movie and be like, hey, that's my line.
When I'm screaming and there's a line. Then I'm always getting hit and stuff. So there's a line that says, when he says, "Turn them down flat." That was like an improv thing that we did, and that stayed in. And a lot of the other sounds, extra sounds that I did, they were kept in. So those little things that you bring to it, but they're strict on they're very strict on keeping the script as it is. I mean, in fact, they only hand you one page at a time. You don't get the whole script. No.
Very interesting. So going back and looking at Beauty and the Beast as a whole now, I mean, it's a celebrated classic of Disney, part of the, sort of the new renaissance of that age in the early 90s, early to mid 90s. Was that expected at the time? Did you go into this project thinking I'm going to be a part of Disney history?
You know what? I did, because I had seen Little Mermaid, and I loved Little Mermaid. It had great success. And then when they, Beauty and the Beast, they were the first ones that were going to use digital.
Right.
So during the big dance at the very end, they used some digital shots and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that was new with this particular that they've never done before, and one that I don't think they'll ever do again. And that's that Gaston. He actually stabs the Beast, and the Beast shrugs him off, and he falls to his death. And that was kind of, whoa. The guy's dead.
Yeah.
So he's not locked up and stuff. And,
right.
I haven't seen that done, but it gave a big satisfaction. The other thing with this is that when you see Beauty and the Beast, it really lends itself to a show that you sing, and it's a Broadway show. So I was used to doing Broadway, and I was used to singing and getting that whole, big chorus and big sound. So that was neat with this. But anything that Disney does that you get to lend your voice to, now it was also nominated for Best Picture that year in 1991. So I got to go to the Oscars and all that other stuff. After that, 91, 92, after that, they stopped. They put it down the Best Animation.
Right, yeah.
It was up against big movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so it knocked off, there was only 4 live action movies, and then Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast was so big and everything like that. So I really enjoyed that process, that, wow, we were the first animated feature to be nominated for an Oscar as just a regular feature. And then big name actors wanted to do more, and then Robin Williams did, Aladdin, and then went on. And now you can only get name actors because you have the machine, the publicity machine that each actor brings
right.
to itself, to it. And it's almost like they're not selling Disney, they're selling the actor as well.
Yeah, well, and they haven't completely strayed away from Broadway either. I mean, we've got Frozen coming out in just a few weeks, and Idina Menzel is one of the stars of that.
Correct. Idina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, and Josh Gad as the Snowman, and it's going to be released November 27th. Yeah, I played the father in that, and the dignitary, and I also play a bad guy in that as well. So that I was able to. That's a nice treat as well. That's coming out.
Definitely looking forward to it. But before getting there, of course, we have this this wonderful new short that has hit the web this week. It's a follow-up to Missing in the Mansion from last year from the Daws brothers, which I had my small part in helping to develop, and same with this year. But really, all of the talent and the creative force behind that are the Daws brothers. How did you end up getting involved with this new short, Followed from the Mansion?
And what is the name of it?
Followed from the Mansion.
That's right. Right. I thought you said follow up.
Right. Well, it is a follow up that is followed from.
Right. No, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm just busting you.
Yeah.
So originally, what happened was that I also direct, and I was directing a play, and I was talking to the actors outside of a play that I was going to go see.
Mm-hmm.
So this actor who was going to be one of my actors was talking to these two gentlemen, which was Josh and Jeremiah. And they just saw, I guess, my energy and saw me talking to him, and I was just telling the other guy, this is what I want to do, blah, 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 we're going to do this, blah, blah. So, lo and behold, like months later, they called and they said, would you be interested in doing this? And I remember them, and I saw the first one that they did, and I thought it was so not cute, but it was very neat, and I enjoyed it. And I always like to help anybody who's starting out or doing stuff. But these guys have been doing this now a little bit. They've had a little experience, and they put out a nice product. So I read the script and did the thing, and I said, sure, I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. So. They were so easy to work with. They were professional, and so I normally don't do these kind of things, unless it goes through my agent, my manager.
Right.
But this was such a cool thing, and they were just so nice, and they wanted to be professional, and of course they want to be professional. They are professional.
They are. Well, and you get to play such an sort of iconic role that hasn't really had much of a life outside of Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that was the neat thing, and one of the neat things about it was when I first did it. I got all these dots on my face because they're doing digital animation to it. It's like
all the motion tracking and everything.
Live action, yeah. So doing that, and also the voice that I did, and when I did it, they loved it. They applauded. And then when I came back the next day to shoot, they said, Jesse, it's too scary. We need to calm it down. So then I said, okay. So I calmed it down. And then when we went into the studio to do some pickups and stuff, they go, Jesse, we need to calm it down even more. We don't want to scare too much the thing. So I did like a fun scary guy.
It is fun. I love, you've got that great boo in there, and your laugh that's a little bit sinister, but there's more to it than that.
That's correct. That's exactly right. And I know what those guys are going for, and I totally get it. And I think that it's just enough, and it has moments. The way it's edited and the way that it cuts. There was when we first screened it the other night, people in the room jumped, and it was just a cut from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
So I said, well, that's really neat. That's really neat.
Well, even though we can't see your face in the short, you are definitely the star of it, and I think your body language lends itself to very much. You take that sort of basic animatronic figure and bring a lot of animation to it.
Well, Ricky, thank you very much for that. I mean, I certainly, I want it to be the best, and I think that's the face that the people know, and every time you go on that ride. And I myself am a season, a pass holder, and so is my family. And I work for Disney on many other animation shows, TV shows, and stuff like that. So I love Disney, and I love Disneyland. I mean, I'm never going to grow old with that. So I really enjoy that part, and just to be part of Phoebeus, to that character that that I remember as a little kid putting a tape in the VCR, and my son listening to it and dancing to it, and now I'm actually playing it.
And now every time you ride through the Haunted Mansion, you're going to be like, hey, there's me.
Oh, forever. Till the Lord calls me home, I'm going to be saying, that's me right there.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so glad you're part of it. It turned out great, and we look forward to hearing more from you from the Disney universe.
Well, this is. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that these guys continue doing what they're doing because they're really talented, and like I said, it's just nice to work with nice people. That's not something you get to do all the time, and they're just really great.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And now we have reached the end of show 447, the Halloween edition of Inside the Magic 4 2013. Hopefully you enjoyed those blasts from the past, be it Backstage Pass or a little extra musical fun from Tom Ameen. And then, of course, talking all about the Daws brothers' latest short. If you enjoyed Missing in the Mansion last year, love Followed from the Mansion this year. Hopefully you've already watched both of them. If not, go watch them right away. You'll love them. They are just absolutely fantastic, and I'm so honored to have had a small part in developing both of them. A little bit of story input here and there, and a few other things. But it really is the Daws brothers' creations. Those guys are so talented. They've done such a wonderful job. Anyway, so there it is. That's the conclusion of Halloween season. I promise I'm not going to talk about it anymore this year. We're moving on. We're moving into November. We're going to be talking about Disney Magic Cruise Ship. Going to be talking, I'm sure, about Christmas time very soon. The Jingle Cruise and all that good stuff. So lots of fun moving on as we get into the rest of 2013. I can't believe it's already almost November. That's kind of wild. But you know what? Halloween is still going on for another couple of days. Of course, it's not quite Halloween yet. So over at InsideTheMagic.net, I do have a few more articles planned that for those of you who are big Halloween fans like I am will certainly enjoy. So keep tuned to the website and the YouTube channel and all of that to stay on top of all of that. I want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. Also, don't forget to check out touringplans.com. Use code ITM to save 20% off of their computer-optimized touring plans to beat those lines when you are in the parks. And then don't forget about searching for Capturing Magic in the iTunes store in order to organize all of your photo-taking magical moment capturing opportunities at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So that's about it for this week. InsideTheMagic.net is the website. Find us on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff to stay on top of everything between episodes of this show. Hopefully you've enjoyed the big Halloween season this year. I've certainly enjoyed bringing it all to you, and we'll see where we go from here. Thanks for listening and for watching each and every week. Have a magical week. Bye.
Just a dream away.